Hi, this is Mindless Sanity 602 reporting to you at the Nightmare Central with day number 11's review of my year 4 of my fourth annual, shit, I'm repeating that a lot, 31 days of horror film reviews in October, and day number 11's review is going to be of not the 1978 version, but the 2004 Zack Snyder directed Dawn of the Dead 2004 R-rated 101-minute action horror science fiction film. We're going to be discussing the remake. Now, just like I have to, give some history, backstory, in order to, in order for me to be the best reviewer, you have to give some backstory to the whole thing. And my general thoughts on the 1978 original, I like the film, but I think that's overrated. I think it's overrated, but I still like it. I don't think it's all the great movie it's made out to be. It's just it's just average to me. It's mediocre to me. I like it, but it just doesn't hold up as well. It's way better than the original Night of the Living Dead. I don't really care for that one. But now, um, this one here, unlike its original series, the remake of Night of the Living Dead from the 90s, that Tom Savini directed, that is not canon with the 2004 remake, just like the 2008 remake of Day of the Dead isn't canon. With this whole entire thing is just basically the original trilogy, not the three films that came post the original trilogy. The Romero the Dead films have spawned their different sub-franchises. There's like 3 different franchises that the original Night of the Living Dead has spawned. It has spawned the Return of the Living Dead series. One version that's made off of a shitty 30th anniversary edition cut of it with City of the Living Dead. And now, then you got the rest of the Romero films. Then you got Dawn of the Dead, which, had like just one franchise, Zombie. And now we have a second thing spawning off with the Dawn of the Dead remake. Now, the whole entire, explain that the whole entire debacles with the Romeros of the Dead franchise is a bit confusing, but it's an interesting thing of how that's all set up. Now, now, now we get to this one. It's directed by Zack Snyder, which I'm not really a big fan of Zack Snyder as a director. I don't care for 300. I don't care for 300 all that much. I think that he did Watchmen, and Watchmen is a terrific movie. I love Watchmen. It's one of the better superhero films. It's very intelligent. It's very non-conventional. I like Watchmen. Watchmen's a terrific film. He did Sucker Punch and that Owl movie. Haven't seen those, nor do I really plan on seeing those, because I'm not really a Zack Snyder fan. I'm not really a big fan of his style. Then he did Man of Steel. I find Man of Steel to be a piece of shit. I don't really care for Man of Steel. So overall, Zack Snyder has only provided one impressive film, and that's Watchmen. The rest of his stuff has been kind of cruddy, my books. We get into Dawn of the Dead. Let's just explore the Dawn of the Dead remake in this video. I think the film has a solid beginning. You basically get to see this girl. You basically get to see this girl doing her typical life. She works at a hospital. And I just enjoy how I enjoy the portions when when the film slowly puts us into the position of this main girl, the main protagonist of the film, and how she discovers the zombie outbreak. She finds out that her daughter, I think, is affected, and then she affects the husband, and we get some nice explosions. Then we get introduced to Ving Rhames' character, all the other characters in the film, and just like the original Dawn of the Dead, it goes downhill once we get to the mall portions. The mall portions in either version of Dawn of the Dead are the low points of the whole entire films. This film had very solid, first 20 or 15 minutes. I really have yet to time it. With a terrific opening title sequence. I really think that the opening title sequence is really well done. I like the music accompanying the background in that particular opening title sequence. I think that it's a very solid beginning, as I said. And then the rest of the film, we just get to meet up with characters that I don't really care for. I don't really care for any of the characters. I find that guy who looks like Tim Roth. I don't know what his character's name is because none of the characters are really that memorable. You basically have the main chick, which you only remember because she was in the beginning of the portions of the film. After you meet up with the main chick, then you meet up with this, oh my god, they have to do the typical bullshit by making a black guy be a criminal in the film. Stereotypical bullshit there, which proves that this film has terrible fucking writing. That oh my god, we have to make the black guy into a criminal. Very good. At least they got some bit of, difference by making Ving Rhames a good guy, but there really isn't much to that character. You get to meet up with the security guards. They start out being pricks to everybody, the security guards. And we get some stupid comedy. Understand that you have to add some levity to, get the audience feeling comfortable, and just, providing a nice little layer for the audience to, it's basically a filmmaking 101. If you're having a serious film, you need some levity. If you have a comedy film, you're going to need whatever the antonym of levity is. I don't know that word. Where the antonym of levity is. Yeah, with comedy, lighter tones, you have to intersperse a little bit of something different into the film. I understand that, but I don't really think that the levity in this film is all that impressive. I think the levity in the original 1978 version is a little bit better in my books. It's a little bit more of this is typical character moments. I'm caring for these characters a bit more. I'm enjoying their screen time more. It was basically more that it felt less just shoved in there just so it could be fit the necessary narrative guidelines that a film is supposed to provide the audience. With the original, it doesn't feel like it was unorganic to the whole thing of the film. Then we get a zombie baby scene, and I understand it's a zombie baby, but I don't really care for babies, children, or any of that shit being harmed or in. I don't like that shit in movies. I'm okay with animals. I'm okay with fucking humans, but children and babies are not are very. I don't care for that shit in movies. I think that those are innocent safe zones that should not be touched. And I don't care for that scene much in this film. Um, it has that typical Zack Snyder film look, the typical Zack Snyder film look that just just you can really tell that it's a Zack Snyder film if it has that like terrible like orangish gray look to the whole entire thing. One thing I appreciate about it is that there isn't very much slow-mo bullshit that Zack Snyder likes to apply to his films, which gets tedious and gets really annoying with Zack Snyder's other films. Um, so basically, if you ask me, the first like 20 or 15 minutes of this film is terrific, terrific. You have like an awesome beginning. I'm sorry. Then once it gets to the mall, it gets a little bit stupid, and then once they leave the mall, it picks up again. It basically the whole mall portion, which is just basically copying the typical setting location of the original, is where the film really drops down to me. But once they're leaving the mall, it picks up a bit. You get some action sequences, you get some crazy chainsaw things, and nice little zombie shoot ups. It's very good there, but the rest is just. And I gotta be honest, the zombie subgenre of horror films just doesn't really do it for me much. Zombies just don't really do it for me much. I understand that a lot of people love the zombie subgenre of horror films. I don't really. I like slasher films. Slasher films are okay in my books. Those are a favorite of mine. Vampire films, I love vampire films. Vampire films are basically a cooler, more sophisticated version of the zombie, which is more interesting. There's a little bit more to chew up on. That's funny. Pun both intended and unintended. Yeah, there's a little bit more stuff for me to, get immersed by with vampire films, slasher films, even werewolf films to different varying degrees are more entertaining than zombie films, because zombies you just have these big things and it just seems lazy. It seems like the cheapest, most artistically devoid genre out of the whole horror field. There's a few shining lights like the Day of the Dead, the original Day of the Dead, not the 2008 remake, which is horrible. The 2008 remake of Day of the Dead's awful. I really don't care for that one much. But the original Day of the Dead's my favorite zombie movie. I all in all think that film's great. It's the standout of the zombie subgenre. Lucio Fulci's Zombie's good. Um, Good, but this kind of zombie film seems kind of cheap. It's way better than like the Return of the Living Dead 4 and 5. Those were pretty bad. So overall, I'm not really a big fan of the Day of the Dead remake. Day of the Dead remake is just not my cup of tea. I understand that there's a lot of fans of this movie, and the more power to them. More power to them that they could get enjoyment out of this movie. More power to them, but it has a few shining moments, but it's not a good movie in my books. Um, I don't really think the cast does all a good job. Everybody sucks besides Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames is usually very good. You can never go wrong. Ving Rhames, who also made an appearance in the Day of the Dead remake, which makes no sense. which makes no sense him being there, but it's fucking Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames kicks ass. Um, all in all, I don't really care for this movie much. If I were to rank it out of a 10, I'll put it like at a 3 out of 10. It's 3 out of 10. Um, out of a 3 out of 10. If I were to do like an typical school grading level, I would put it at a. I think I would put it at like a D. I put it at a D. Um, now, let's talk about the Blu-ray. Now, I got the Blu-ray here. I really wouldn't really buy this much, but I had like some Christmas money like last year, and I was trying to get as much money, much movies with that Christmas money as I can, and hey, this was like $4, and I thought that was pretty fucking impressive for this to be $4. $4, and I thought, hell, I'll get it. I'll get it. Maybe that's one thing that's cool about collecting movies. Even if you don't like it, you could return to it later. And just to see if you have like just to revise your opinion. Like, who knows? Who knows? Like 10 years later, 10 years from now, in like 2025, I might like this movie. I might go back and say, oh, I want to watch Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 remake, and I might say, oh my God, this is better than it was when I was like 20 years old. Maybe 30-year-old Brandon would like it. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. You can never know. But the Blu-ray itself, luckily, this includes the DVD copy, a DVD copy which includes all the extra content that the Blu-ray didn't include, which is fine. It makes it for a good package. Um, the Blu-ray looks pretty nice, but that usually goes without saying because Zack Snyder's films are usually fantastic looking, despite that terrible like orange tilt to it, orange tilt to the film stock. The Blu-ray quality looks good. You get a few extras, and I quite like the disc. The disc here, you get the Blu-ray disc there. You get the Blu-ray disc there, which has the poster artwork, and then you have like this for the DVD disc, which was I think 2004 or 2005. That was a strange time, like in the mid 2000s, there was a lot of zombie films coming out then. Like you had you had the fourth Romero the Dead film, Land of the Dead, which I enjoy. Land of the Dead. I think that Land of the Dead gets a bad rap, but I kind of like it. It's the last one that's actually legitimately good out of that overrated franchise, but it's good. You got Land of the Dead, you got Shaun of the Dead, which is fun. All in all, that was a pretty solid time if you were a zombie fan. Unfortunately, the zombie subgenre hasn't aged well with me, but that's just my personal taste. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. And thank you for staying with me. This has been day 11 of my 31 days of horror film reviews, and I shall be back in a little less than 24 hours. With day number 12's review, and that's going to be returning to the infamous, the great Hellraiser franchise. Hope that you enjoy this video. Hope that you've been enjoying the other 10 that came before it. and I hope that you enjoy the other 20 that will come after it, and my 4th annual 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. And I hope that you stay groovy. I hope that you give this video a like, a comment down below with your thoughts, and subscribe. Do all of that fun shit, and I shall be back with day number 12. Peace.